You're All So Glorious, Chapter 2, Part 7. Uh, there's probably a major character death in this one, so that's the content warning for today. Lace watches, curiously posed on the lawn. The sun begins to set. Crickets sing in the background. The dusk cools the air. I should take you away, Phantom says suddenly. You don't deserve this. None of us did. But you're so young. Was I? They cut off, as if they'd bitten their tongue. Deserve what? Lace asks. She looks around at the pristine lawn, the collection of white tables and umbrellas, her fine clothes, tailored specifically for her body from cashmere and silk. Though everything is boring, it is also quite luxurious. And she has Phantom. To Lace, despite the hardships, there's a wealth of opportunity she deserves entirely. Phantom looks at her with pity. What she does to us, they say. You've got your period now. I heard one of the servants talking about it. You got it real early. What does my period have to do with anything? Lace mutters, suddenly embarrassed. She doesn't really want to talk about it. She'd screamed when she'd seen the blood, and had thought completely she was dying. No one had told her about the processes of the female body, and Lace had desperately attempted to stop the bleeding on her own. It hadn't worked. To find out that it was completely natural had her feeling displaced. It didn't feel natural, the slime between her legs, the deeply rooted pain that made her want to retch out her stomach. Lace thinks it must be some cruel joke. A period indicates the start of puberty, Phantom replies. I don't know what it is she wants, but she wants girls on the brink of puberty. She'll send you out to get heart surgery soon enough. It's what she did to me. It's what she did to our brother, to our sister before him, and our sister before her, and our sister before her. At least that's what I was told. Phantom pauses, grasping the grass beneath their fingers. There might have been more, they say almost dreamily. Who knows where they went? Maybe they went to college, Lace suggests, trying some stupid attempt at comfort. Perhaps, Phantom says. They press their lips together and look towards the manor, pulling their legs underneath their chin. I don't know. Our mother's looking for something, though. She's changing our bodies. I can't describe it well. It just means to an end. As if Lace isn't aware, Mother watches her with narrowed eyes, as if expecting her to fail. Every move Lace makes is criticized. Her handwriting isn't neat enough, her dancing isn't fluid, her maths are off. No matter how she adjusts, nothing satiates Mother. What do you think she's looking for? Lace asks, frown deep in her face. The dusk has faded to a streaked purple and blue around Phantom's head. A golden glow drifts from the main house, softening the air around it. One would not expect the people who were inside. I'm not sure, Phantom says. They tilt their head, and the soft light frames their hair gloriously. Something better than us, no doubt. But what else have we got? A party full of people over there, and not a single one would even think about helping us. Helping us? Phantom casts a glance, face strange and drawn. Get away from Mother, they say thinly, as if it should be obvious. Why would we want to leave? Lace furrows her brow. It's not so bad. Better than it was. Why did you tear your heart out? Phantom huffs a breath, almost amused. I don't know about that, they say. I think she's doing something to us, though. Something to our bodies, something to our minds. I think whatever it is, it's selfish. It has to do something with these surgeries. It has something to do with us all being orphans, poor and isolated. Why do you want to leave me? For a moment, the two of them watch the manor, gazes piercing into the well-lit halls, spilling warm gold onto the grass. Silhouettes talk aimlessly, thin glasses between long fingers. Like animals, Lace and Phantom watch from the dark, shrouded in the night. Was your older brother an orphan too? Lace says in a small voice. Phantom doesn't look at her. We all were, they say. You and me, our brother, and all our sisters. It's Mother that makes us something, and as soon as we become useless, we go back to nothing. Lauded and then discarded. Exalted and then failed. There's nothing to do about the bipolarity except flow with it. Lace moves a little closer. Do you remember your parents? She asks. No, I don't either. I think that's easier. I do too. I only remember the ocean, and I miss it terribly. I can't imagine remembering anything else. I can't imagine missing something else. Maybe you'll get to see it again someday, Phantom says. I'll take you. Up here in France, it's probably rockier than what you're used to, but you're a positive kid. I'm sure you'll see the best in it. A cut of laughter rings out from the manor, loud enough that the two of them can hear it beside their bush. It makes them both flinch, looking towards the manor like a pair of prey animals, fighting their instinct to run. Could you imagine being the first person ever to exist here? Phantom whispers, voice suddenly much lower. Could you imagine how lonely it would be? Lace thinks she can, even a little. She thinks of time spent only with Widow or her ballet tutor or her mother, and how even with another person, she feels like she's the only thing that's real. I'd go mad, she says. Phantom looks at the sky. Lace tilts her head. What does your heart look like? She asks. Phantom doesn't flinch at the question. They just shift, face weary. I'm sorry, they say. Lace doesn't blink, face like stone. She keeps staring, watching Phantom with wide eyes, waiting for the answer to her question. She's quite young, but still, there are easier ways to die. She doesn't understand why Phantom chose this way, all disgusting and gory and difficult. Lace can only imagine, and she doesn't even like to do that much. Phantom twists a blade of grass between their fingers. They slide it over, under, and around, until they let it go to the wind. It was white, they say eventually, white like silk. Lace's birthday comes with no fanfare as always. Nobody mentions it. There's no break for her in the pursuit of becoming the best she can be. There's no celebration on the day she was born, because she has done nothing to deserve such a reward. This is what she was told when she had turned 8, and she had never asked again. She spends what little free time she has with Phantom, so it's not a surprise to her when they come and pull her away, trying not to smile when they place their hands over their eyes. You can't see anything, right? Okay, don't peek, you little cheater. I'll know if you do. What? Lace says, falsely annoyed. I've got to do work. There's so much it never ends. Just a second. Hold on. Step over. And here. They take their hands off Lace's eyes. Happy birthday, Phantom says. They push the cake forward. I found your birthday in Mother's records when well, anyways, it's not a good cake or a fancy party or anything, but, you know. The cake is lopsided and messily frosted with a neon pink color. Harry Binfoy Loose is written in poor and sloppy lettering across the top. When Phantom cuts into it with a sharp knife, there are 2 tumultuous layers that are divided only by a thin slather of custard. One's vanilla and the other's chocolate, Phantom says. You said you liked both. Lace does like both. She gets her ice cream swirled with both flavors. She likes the milky sweetness of the Kinder Bar. She likes mixes of vanilla and chocolate raisins. She likes the divided puddings that boast both flavors, even if the palate is hardly distinct. She is greedy like that. She can't stand to lose out on one thing when she can have both. Phantom places a slice of cake on her paper plate. Lace bursts into tears. Oh, Phantom says, don't cry. They awkwardly pat her back. Lace pushes past this to wrap her arms around Phantom and squeeze them tight. Things had been getting worse in the house. Lace's mother watches every move like a hawk. Lace had gone from presenting work to her every 2 weeks, to every week, to every other day. This was always accompanied by harsh words from her mother, who would viciously criticize Widow's teaching methods while she was at it. This always sent Widow into a viral frenzy, and Lace would work harder and dream about letters and numbers. And then she'd go to ballet, and they'd bend her body harder and tighter, crack her spine and arch her stiff feet. And Lace was exhausted, and exhausted, and exhausted. She'd not truly hated her life before this, but this entire scenario was making a compelling argument. "You're making me look bad," Lace says thickly. "What? Am I going to have to make you a 3-story lemon cake to top you?" "Don't worry about that," Phantom says distantly. "Look, I made the custard from scratch. Well, sort of. I got a box from the store, but I mixed the milk and gelatin together, yeah? It's all practically homemade." Arms trembling, Lace reaches forward and tentatively licks a bit of frosting off the cake. "That tastes store-bought," she says, making a face. "It's super sweet." Phantom rolls their eyes. "You're so elitist," they complain lightheartedly. "When did my little sister get so spoiled?" "It's not my fault that the frosting wasn't caked with love." "I slathered it on your stupid cake with all the love in my heart." Phantom hands Lace a fork, which is decreasing by the second. It's a heavy cake, and it collapses in on itself from its own weight. Lace eats every bite served. She steals some of Phantom's plate. When Phantom tries to steal back, Lace jerks her plate away and licks the entire slice. "Get your own," Phantom grumbles. Lace turns her nose up. When Phantom looks away again, she steals another bite. "I don't have a present," Phantom says when they're done. "Just an IOU. But I'm going to town today. I'll try to see you before your ballet lessons." Lace, who had perked up at the idea of seeing Phantom later in the day, when she would normally be swamped, deflates at the reminder of ballet. "I hate ballet," Lace says. Her brow furrows. "I hate ballet a lot. The shoes hurt my ankles, and yesterday I broke my toenail." "Oh no," Phantom sighs. "Not your toenail." "It was bad," Lace protests. "It really hurt. It's my birthday. I don't want to go. You said you'd get me a present, an IOU. I don't want that. This is what I want. Don't make me go to practice." "Really?" Phantom says. "This is what you want?" Lace nods her head vigorously. Phantom squints their eyes. "You're not going to ask for something else later?" Lace shakes her head so hard it sends one of her bobby pins flying into a corner. Phantom sighs, leaning over to grab the pin and tuck it back into Lace's hair. At this point in time, Lace is still small. She's still a bitty thing, a cute little bow in her hair, a gummy smile and grasping hands. It doesn't matter to her that much that Mother held her in little regard, caring for Lace as much as she would a sturdy cactus. But she'd always had Phantom, and Phantom had loved her for 3 years running now. Therefore, Phantom says, "You should come to my fencing practice." They're not looking at Lace. "Let's take you. You don't like ballet?" When Lace shakes her head, Phantom takes her hand and tugs her forward. "Then let's find you something you like." Lace gasps with delight, trotting after Phantom. "Fencing!" she cheers. "Like what you do on the lawn?" She mimics a paw thrust. "Are we going to a park?" "I'm with a club," Phantom grumbles. "The princesses run it. Anyone can join as long as they want to learn." "Really? Do I get to meet them? Will I get my own sword? Guys wear those weird uniforms. Do I get one too?" "Sure." Phantom sticks their hands in their pockets. They stare at the flat white of the wall of the room. They'd open the window, but it's not enough to remove the sickly quality of their mother's home. "I'll make sure you get one." "Okay. How will we get there?" "Well, here's the sneaky part." Phantom leans down and whispers into Lace's ear. Lace's eyes grow wider and wider. "But what if we get caught?" she worries, picking at a fingernail. You won't, Phantom assures. But I promise, Phantom says firmly. You won't get punished. Come on, isn't it your birthday? Lace twists her mouth in consideration before nodding her agreement. A few hours later, Lace finds herself being dragged down the dirt road an hour or two before the sun sets. Phantom's got a duffel bag draped over their shoulder as they walk. Lace has never been into the nearby town before, so as they approach, she admires everything with a quiet awe. The houses are cute, made of stone and close together. Many are somewhat lopsided, laundry hanging out to dry in the fading sun, mold and white ivy stains the side of the buildings, clippings of leaves belying someone's futile attempt to cut the plants from the stone. Eventually they stop in front of a smaller building, barred fences doing nothing to prevent the sight of a football field and basketball court in the back. There are some kids playing on the court, shouting as they pass an orange ball back and forth, eager, bodies relentless with energy. It's dark enough now that warm light spills through the window, displaying the sight of treadmills and exercise machines, all lined up like a planter of flowers. You ready? Phantom asks. Lace nods eagerly.